So long before the names Jeffrey Dahmer, Ted Bundy, or John Wayne Gacy were making headlines, an American serial killer was racking up a body count around Houston, Texas. Dean Corll, who was an electrician, who was known to pass out candy to kids in the neighborhood. They affectionately called him the Candy Man. What they didn't know was that over the span of 3 years, Dean Corll kidnapped, raped, tortured, and killed at least 28 boys and young men, and he did not do it alone. The Candy Man had a couple of helpers. There were 2 teenagers, and those teenagers were actually responsible for some of those murders. But one day, at least one of the teenagers had had enough, and it was in 1973 that he shot Dean Corll dead. The Candy Man may have died before he could be sent to prison, but his helpers, they were very much alive, and both of them were sent away for life. The teen who killed the Candy Man was Elmer Wayne Henley, and Henley has now spent more than 50 years behind bars. Dr. Katherine Ramsland is a forensic psychologist and a friend of this program. She had the unique opportunity to speak with Henley, and she is featured prominently in a new investigation discovery documentary about his crime called The Serial Killer's Apprentice. Here's a preview.
What were those first moments like for you?
Strangle somebody, it's memorable, it's poignant. I was horrified.
Dean Corll was picking off kids in a neighborhood.
The total number killed now stands at 27.
Officers were led to the site by 17-year-old Elmer Wayne Henley.
Elmer Wayne Henley is the only accomplice to a serial killer who killed the killer to end it.
How can a 17-year-old kid be involved in something this gruesome?
I wanted to find out from Wayne what made him cross the line. And to my great surprise, he was willing to talk with me.
I'm not trying to absolve myself of guilt. I'm trying to make people see the truth.
And Dr. Ramsland is here with me now. It's nice to see you, Dr. Ramsland. I've seen the documentary. It's really, really interesting. I recommend everybody watch it. It's just crazy that you were able to talk to this guy. You were surprised Elmer Wayne Henley actually wanted to talk to you. Why is that?
Well, he had tried in the past to talk with media and had been dismissed or had his story distorted, he thought. So the fact that he would make one more shot at it to see if somebody would represent his story, I think was kind of brave of him.
So what are we to make of him? Because he was a killer, but at the same time, he killed the main killer. Like, how are we supposed to process that? I mean, he was also a victim of this guy too. So, like, what are we to make of him?
Well, he was killing under the influence of Dean Corll, who was the adult predator who brought the 2 teenage boys into being an accomplice to him. So it wasn't, he didn't initiate the murders. He didn't want to murder anybody. He was a compliant accomplice. And then at one point, there were 2 kids in the house, in Corll's house with him. Corll had them bound and had him bound, was going to kill them all. Wayne talked his way out of it, and when Corll put the gun down, Wayne saw an opportunity to stop him and grabbed it to save his friends and save himself, and also to put an end to this, because he was just tired of it. He knew Corll was never going to stop. This was the opportunity, and he took it.
What were you hoping to learn from Wayne in these jailhouse calls?
I wasn't really sure. I just knew that the original story that I had come to believe from an earlier true crime book was probably not accurate. And so I wanted to know more about him. And we also really had not looked at accomplices very much, had not really researched and studied them. And I hoped that he would be able to tell me his point of view, what it had been like to be pulled into this arrangement. Why had he stayed in this arrangement for 17 months? What was it like for him to become a killer? This is a kid who wanted to be a minister. How was a predator like Corll able to get him in that position and keep him there? So Wayne talked about it all. He went into great detail about it.
And how is that? I mean, I think that's the thing that you're sort of left wondering at the end of watching the documentary, is how someone can be, who's, you know, had a rough upbringing, but, you know, not violent, suddenly pulled into something like that.
Well, he was tricked and then leveraged, but also he's quite vulnerable because he had been raised in an unstable home where he had an abusive alcoholic father who had shot at him twice to kill him and had beaten his mother and grandmother in front of him. So he already had kind of a background of violence, and that made him vulnerable to someone like Corll, who came along and was like a big brother, and the father figure seems stable. And Corll had persuaded him to get involved in something that ended up being a murder. Once he was in it, and he was 15 years old, once he was in it, he didn't know how to get out of it.
Yeah, really, it's a fascinating documentary. It's fascinating to hear you talking to him. Dr. Ramsland, thank you so much for coming on tonight. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me. I was glad to be here.
The doc, by the way, it's called, again, The Serial Killer's Apprentice, streaming on Investigation Discovery, and also on HBO Max.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.